Hi there, and thank you for sticking around for the next video installment. Today, I hope to introduce you to our 3D printing journey and the products that we have in our labs. I've been following the 3D printing industry for the last decade or so since it started coming into the consumer sphere, and I've been looking at getting a 3D printer, but never got around to actually doing it. Early 3D printers required a lot of tweaking to get a print right. You had to adjust the bed level, nozzle level, and often would break down. It was more of a DIY project. But over the years, the industry has matured really well that today's printers just work. It's like printing on a laser or inkjet printer. It's that simple. Pioneers in the industry were Prusa and Bamboo Labs. Bamboo Labs was one of the first companies to make a printer that just worked and opened up 3D printing to the masses. People could buy a Bamboo Lab, set it up at home, and start printing. Earlier printers required tweaking like bed leveling, nozzle adjustments, etc. About 6 years ago, Bamboo Labs burst onto the scene and came out with printers that just worked. People could bring home a bamboo printer and just start printing like printing to an inkjet or a laser printer. I started looking into buying a 3D printer machine. About a year and a half ago, I decided to buy a 3D printer and started looking at options. Bamboo Labs was the natural first choice, and I was looking at the offerings. Just when I was ready to pull the trigger on a purchase, Bamboo came out with a firmware update that locked down their printers. Previously, people could use the printers on the local network and directly print to the printers. But with a firmware update sometime late 2025, they came up with an update that forced people to use the cloud and their own software. Being an open source enthusiast and having seen the industry built on open source principles and open source software, that just didn't sit right with me. And I wasn't so comfortable buying a lockdown machine like that. I was looking for alternatives to Bamboo, but the industry seemed to be split between Bamboo Labs, which were easy to use, like I said, and others which still weren't as polished. There was Prusa Labs, which makes some of the best machines, but they were priced out of my league, and they also required a bit of assembly. While I was still trying to find out what model to buy, I came across an interesting Kickstarter campaign from a company I hadn't heard of, and I decided to take the risk and back it. I'm not new to Kickstarter. I have backed a lot of campaigns on Kickstarter. It wasn't the risk of Kickstarter that worried me. It's just that it was a new company, like I mentioned. Any guesses on what I decided to get? Yes, I got the Snapmaker U1. It's probably one of the first machines that landed up in India by virtue of me backing it on Kickstarter. It reached here in December, just in time for Christmas. Having a printer in-house was a big time saver. While printing, it seamlessly switches between two different colors by switching tool heads. I've been using this extensively since I've had it, and it's been a game changer. Having multiple tool heads means it swaps seamlessly between filaments and there's no time lag. I've been using this printer extensively since I've had it, and it's been a complete game changer. I can iterate, print new models, test, print again without any time lag. The Snapmaker U1 is a great printer and I love it. But then I ended up wanting more. I realized 3D printing is like being infected by a bug, and you can never have enough. Soon I started getting impatient and wished I could print faster. And how do you print faster? With more printers. I was looking for another printer. I considered various models, including the FlashForge, which has got a small compact printer. But then I took a step back and studied what I was doing. Soon I was in the market for a second printer. Two reasons. One, like I said, to print faster, prototype faster with multiple models being printed at the same time. But also, I'd grown so dependent on this that I couldn't afford a breakdown. While looking for other options, I came across the Sovol SV08 and its big brother, the SV08 Max. The Sovol is based on the open source Voron project. It's completely open source, and the reviews were quite good. It may not be as polished as the Snapmaker, but it would serve my purposes for prototyping. And the nice thing was, if I went for the Max, I would get a larger print volume, a 500 mm cube. So yes, I did get the Sovol SV08 Max. And let me show it to you. Here it is. Large print volume, like I said. I decided to go with the enclosure so that I could in future print engineering materials like ABS or ASA. I still haven't gotten around to doing it, but it's on the cards. It's been working fine for me. I've been able to take certain large prints out of it and helps me while prototyping and also doing multiple prototypes in a single print. I've been able to take larger prints out of this and also take multiple prints in one shot. While this option has been available, my go-to machine has been the Snapmaker, and I started buying spares for it, like nozzles and spare boards, just in case something happened to it. But I still had an itch, and guess what I did? Yes, I bought my second Snapmaker U1. Here it is. So these are my two babies. I love both of them. They've been a workhorse, and in coming videos, I'll be showing more and more of what we do with it, and several mods I plan to do with this. But wait, that's not all. I have something more to show you. Everything's not roses with this printer. There are a few drawbacks. One, since I went with the enclosure, it actually reduces the print volume, and I plan to extend the top. Gurgle, who's on YouTube, has an excellent video on how he modified his Sovol SV08 Max, and I plan to follow his instructions. And the other main issue is it's extremely noisy. Let me show you. And that's not all the fans. There are still two more fans in the enclosure that I haven't turned on. Let me turn that on. Sounds like a wind tunnel. Can you hear me? Extremely noisy. 3D printing is the term used for what's known technically as additive manufacturing. And there are different ways to go about it. These printers that I've shown you so far form layers upon layer based on filament that is melted and extruded. They're known as FDM printers, but there are other technologies like SLS and also resin printing. While I was in this journey of 3D printing, I came across another Kickstarter campaign for the Anycubic P1. The Anycubic P1 is a resin printer, and here it is. Unfortunately, I haven't started using it yet, although it's been with me for several months. I've just been busy with all my work. Resin printing uses a different software to slice it, and hopefully I will start using it soon, and I definitely will document it in one of the upcoming videos. If you've stuck around till now, thank you for your patience, and hope to see you soon. Have a great day.